basketball tonight on the Buzzard. They begin the preseason tonight in Atlanta, where every team is a potential championship organization. Cavaliers, the Atlanta Hawks. That is Dominique Wilkins and the Atlanta Hawks.
I mean, he retired 25, 30 years ago. So
That can't be right.
yeah, that's probably right.
Really? So he's a little long in the tooth if he's come back.
Well, he hasn't come back.
Oh, he
I think
stayed
retired.
retired.
I think he's been retired the whole time. I believe he does their play-by-play announcing.
Oh, okay.
I think he might be doing that.
All
or
right.
the color commentary.
Bill, that's not the preferred.
The people of color commentary.
Please don't say that. All right, that's. I don't need to start the week off that way. So who's the starting five in the Atlanta Hawks?
Trae Young.
Okay.
Murray. Is it
Murray? There's a guy named Murray on the Atlanta
His
Hawks.
last name's Murray.
Oh, not his first
I think
name?
it's DeJounte Murray.
Oh, it'd be great if there was a guy whose first name was Murray on the Atlanta Hawks.
John Collins, I think, is still on that team.
Okongwu? Is there a guy named Okongwu on?
There might be.
Sadiq Bey?
That sounds like a player.
Bogdanovich?
Bogdanovich, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway. Oh, DeJounte Murray. There you go. Yeah. Not a guy named Murray. That would be awesome.
Not Murray.
Right. Mine is Timothy Dershowitz on the Atlanta Hawks.
I mean,
Timothy. You know, you hear a lot of Timothys, but Timothy. I'm looking at who's helping.
Oh, yeah.
In the video department.
No, he is not on the Hawks.
Timothy Dershowitz. Okay. Well, anyway, Cavs basketball tonight on MMS. 7:30 is your first is your tip-off. So 7 o'clock is when the pregame will begin on MMS. Today is now Poundcake, cover your ears because you won't care. But today is the very last day to register to vote in the state of Ohio. Of course, the election is coming up on November the 7th. And so if you have yet to register to vote, today is the very last day to do it. We'll be voting, of course, on reproductive rights, whether or not you think that women should be brood mares for the state. Marijuana is going to be on the ballot. And so for anybody who has not yet registered to vote, you should do it today. I'm not telling you for whom to vote.
Or for what?
Well, I'm telling you for what, yes, but I'm not telling you for whom.
Okay.
I'm threading the needle there. Yeah. VoteOhio.gov. If you want to make sure, there are some people, unbelievably, who don't know if they're registered, which tells me that they don't vote. So if you are not sure if you're registered, you can go to VoteOhio.gov. Our own Cody Brown does not vote.
Poundcake, you're not going to vote in this one, even though marijuana legalization's up for grabs?
No.
I mean...
Well, I think his thought is what a lot of people's thought is, where it's not hard to get now. Why do I care?
Well, it's not even that. By me not voting, others might feel compelled to out of protest. So therefore, I did my part.
Boy, he's got an answer, doesn't he? Boy, you are really putting yourself center stage in this whole thing. You're giving yourself a lot of power there. You think...
You guys are giving me a lot of power.
No, all I said is that you don't vote.
But only as of recently has I didn't vote in the last election. I voted for Joe Biden.
You vote for the presidential elections.
Okay.
Which is negligible.
But
that barely counts. I mean, local elections are where things happen.
Okay, well, you say it barely counts, but it counts. If I send my...
Yeah, but local elections are things that directly affect your life as a resident here.
I've voted locally before, and it didn't change my life that much.
Well, no. When was the last time you voted locally?
When I lived at Gay Bay. That was because the voting, my precinct was like right by my house. So I just...
so it was a matter of convience.
Yep.
And what did you vote on?
I don't remember. This was like 2018, 2019. I don't remember what was on the ballot back then. Something I wanted at the time.
So you thought, well, I'll vote because it's across the street.
Yeah, and yeah. I didn't have to leave work or, it was convenient for me.
Well, you won't have to leave work this time either.
Yeah, because I'm not.
Well, because you don't have a morning job to
leave.
Correct. Right. Well, anyway, that's the information. If you're planning on voting on November the 7th, today would be the very last day to register if you aren't. Jerry Seinfeld, oh, the comedy world is abuzz. Because Jerry Seinfeld was in Boston on Saturday night. I don't know if this was this must be the Gaffigan Seinfeld tour. And he does a little Q&A at the end. And a woman yelled out a question. And the clip went viral because of what he said to her in response.
Did I like what? The ending of the show. Well, I have a little secret for you about the ending. But I can't really tell it. Because it is a secret. Here's what I'll tell you, okay? But you can't tell anybody. Something is going to happen that has to do with that ending. It hasn't happened yet. And just what you are thinking about, Larry and I have also been thinking about. So you'll see.
Boy, that ending must really be sticking in their craws.
Was it bad?
If the Seinfeld finale...
I never watched that show.
I never hated the ending the way other people did. I thought it was a funny idea.
I thought it was fine.
I thought it
like
was it?
There's no... They're all in jail. There's no perfect way to end a show like that. I mean, it was a lose-lose proposition, really. I don't know what people expected. I don't know what I expected in that finale. But, I mean, it was 25 years ago. It's been off the air for 25 years. So either these guys are bored, but that ending has really clearly stuck in their collective craws. And I think Jerry Seinfeld is too smart. I mean, he has said in that entire time since, there's no point in bringing anything back because you're never, ever going to top what we did. The finale aside, his thought has always been, hey, so maybe these guys have an idea. I mean, it's not like they're going to have to twist people's arms to get the band back together. But I think a lot of people think that they're going to like reboot the show. And I think that's probably the very last thing they would do. They'd probably do like a Super Bowl commercial or something, right? Wouldn't it be more along those lines? They're not going to do a whole, they don't have to.
Maybe a movie or a short, like
I mean,
a
just like an
30-minute
episode
something,
or
yeah.
like a 40-minute little special or something for one of the
Maybe.
streamers. I could see Netflix shelling out for that.
Well, that's what I assume because that's who his deal is with.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like the Frasier reboot over on Paramount Plus, I think that starts Thursday night. And the initial reviews on it are not good because they're like,
They don't have anybody.
he's the only guy back. I mean, it's, you know, what did you expect?
Without Niles.
They don't have anybody.
They don't got anybody.
Like it's just Kelsey Grammer. And obviously that's the biggest character the guy's ever done. And so for a long time he was kind of like, I'd need to see a script, blah, blah, blah. And I think, you know, you get to a point where you're like, yeah, all right. I mean, you're looking at a pile of scripts. You're like, oh, let's rework
and a pile of
Frasier.
money that they're probably paying him.
Guess so.
They're probably not paying anybody else on the show very much. Probably just paying him a lot.
Get the lion's share of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll still
take
watch
place
it.
in Seattle?
Boston. He's back in Boston.
Back in Boston. Okay.
So when the first run ended, he was flying to Chicago for a woman. And apparently the backstory is that didn't work out, but he ended up being like Chicago's Dr. Phil. So he had a big career in Chicago, and he's going back to Boston because his son is all grown up, and he wants to reconnect with his son. So he's back in Boston. But again, the people who are writing this up, they'll send the first few episodes to critics. And they go, hey, write these up. They're not available to the public, but tell us what you think. And it's not been good because the first run of Frasier, for people who watched that show, it was a very good show.
It was a very good show.
Perfectly cast. The writing was great. I mean,
Very different time because that show still had canned laughter. And
did it?
I mean, that was live studio audience type of thing, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there was plenty of sweet and laughs in it.
Yeah.
But are they filming this new show like that?
Don't know about
because
that.
when they try to make that transition from a scripted 3-camera sitcom like that to a single camera, it's a weird situation.
I think it's the latter. I mean, the clips I've seen, it looks like one of those CBS comedies like Mike and Molly or something, you know, which is obviously very different from what they're trying to achieve. I don't know. I'll watch it because I like that character. I like that show. It would have to be really bad for me to not watch it.
Well, play the trailer and you'll hear laughs if there's laughs. Okay, it looks like a 3-camera sitcom.
But it's him and it's a bunch of other people, you know. But, yeah, they'll drop on Thursday. If you're into that character in that show, I've got $1,000 here for you. It's a chance for you to grab a grant from the Buzzard Bookie. Listen closely, and I hope you win. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Dollar. That's dollar. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Dollar. All right, so about 30 past the hour, I'll have more of those keywords for you. Anytime you want to drop us a voicemail on the After Hours line, you can use it whenever you want. It's 216-986-8903.
Hey, Bill from South Jersey. I listened to yesterday's show via podcast this morning, and I had some thoughts. Devotion to accuracy. First, what Alan was trying to think of was the term Midtown Village, and that used to be synonymous with the neighborhood, but the boundaries of that area have expanded, and so now the neighborhood is only part of Midtown Village. Beyond that, Mary might have had fun at the event she attended, but what she missed, which is where I was on Sunday, was the Romanian Festival at the Orthodox Church up in Northern Liberties, which is the hippest of hipster neighborhoods in the city of Philadelphia. Have fun. Talk to you later.
Mary, are you, Bill from South Jersey there is calling about, we were talking yesterday, Mary had spent the weekend in Philly, and she and her friend had basically stumbled into a huge, well, you'd kind of stumbled into the neighborhood.
Well, they were having their festival.
Yeah, big
We
festival.
stumbled into the neighborhood on Saturday night, and it was packed, and we couldn't figure out what was going on, if it was just Saturday or whatever. And then Sunday, when we woke up, there was like a huge coming out festival. Blocks and blocks of people and performances and vendors and everything. There was also an Italian Heritage Festival down closer to where the stadiums were, but neither of the things that or what Bill is talking about were
You don't want to go to the Romanian
walkable.
festival? Yeah.
This is like 2 blocks from our hotel. And it was
Who
really
knew
fun.
Philly had Italian people living there?
What are you going to do?
Wow. They really should not keep that to themselves. Well, it sounds like he had a great time at the Romanian festival.
Apparently.
It's probably all the lamb you could eat.
I don't know. I wasn't.
How much
there.
lamb do you think you could eat?
Not that much.
Not that much.
Depending
I
on
could eat
how
some
it's
lamb.
prepared.
I mean, if it's like hero meat, that's good stuff.
That is different than just lamb, like a cooked
lamb
chunk
shank?
of lamb. Yeah.
You wouldn't want a shank? What about a
I feel
lamb
like lamb
shank?
is really tough. Like when
Okay.
it's just
Oh,
a
no.
piece of meat.
No, if you do lamb right, it's very, very tender and
I like lamb meatballs and
I've had that lamb burgers, like he's talking about like a gyro. I've had all that, but anytime I've ever had like a shank of lamb, it is tough and it has a really weird flavor to it.
I mean, it definitely has a more, like earthy flavor, but I've had some really good lamb shanks and they are very, very tender. So you just need the right lamb.
But it's also not even
you
about
probably had those
tender.
lambs that were like, but if it's tough, that's what.
Well, that and I don't really like that flavor. That like
Yeah.
gamey.
Yeah, the gaminess
weird,
is a little-
Yeah, I don't like that.
the European flavor. You ever had hogget?
The problem is you're getting these lambs that have probably been moving around too much. You need the ones that never
That they've-
moved
yes,
a
that they've
muscle.
locked
That's
up.
what I'm
There
saying.
you go.
You got to have that hogget meat. Those baby sheep. Oh, it's just delicious. Just falls right off the bone. You don't even. We were in a pub in Dublin, and I'm looking at the menu. And listen, when you're in Europe, the UK, not known for their cuisine, but you can find some things. The things that they know how to do, they do well. And there was hogget on the menu. And so you're talking like 11-month-old sheep that haven't done a lot of work, right? So they're not tough. And they'll tell you it's lamb. But if you ask, you go, oh, what's that? And you go, oh, I'll try that. And you'll get some rice. You'll get some lemons. Never underestimate what a lemon can do for your lamb. That's where the word lemon comes
They're
from.
usually
It can
mixed
cut
It used to
with
be called
a,
lemons.
gaminess.
What? Who?
It
I
can-
thought, good.
the lemon helps with the gaminess.
They're
Really
usually
does.
like a mint sauce, I feel like is always paired with a lamb.
Sometimes, yeah, that's, I think, probably more of a Greek vibe, too, depending on where you get it. There's a lot of Caribbean cuisine. You know, if you're down in the islands eating lamb, they're going to give you a whole bunch of different stuff. They're going to give you like a mutton curry. Not to be confused with Mutton Curry, the comic strip from the 1980s. It's very, very popular. But not a lot of people remember it. Alan, you were just talking about spiders. My aunt just told me that my cousin has a jumping spider.
Owns it?
Yeah.
Why, though?
Yeah, why?
It's a nice
Why not?
pet.
Yeah, why
Fun.
not?
It jumps. It's cute when it jumps.
Alan, my wife and I have tarantulas, and we feed them mice. Boy, imagine you found a person where that is your commonality.
So cruel.
How did the two of you, well, mice got to do something. You
Live.
let them run around? Huh?
Live.
Ah, come on,
Well, and
spreading
they also,
disease.
like, if you
Stop.
if you buy them from a pet store, they like breed them to be fed to snakes and stuff.
So wrong.
You can go buy like feeder mice.
Feet or mice?
Feeder.
Oh.
I made that word up. I don't even know if that's what they're really
I think
called.
that
but
is
like,
what they're called. Yeah.
These people better not ever be vegetarians or ever tell people not to wear fur because you're literally feeding an animal to another animal.
You know that's what we do too, right?
But also, snakes can't survive if they don't eat meat. They can't be a
But
vegetarian.
that's how nature goes. Like
Right,
you
exactly.
shouldn't interfere with that.
So am I a bad person because I feed my dog food?
No.
Well, it's another animal.
Or are you saying people shouldn't have snakes and tarantulas as pets to begin with?
Yes.
But like I'm feeding an animal to another animal.
But I'm saying you're literally breeding animals. Like the mice are alive. When I told you, my mom dated a guy who had like
Is Poundcake going vegetarian on us?
No, I'm saying I feel bad for live animals who are just being bred just to.
You know that's
Die.
what all of our meat is, right?
But it's already dead by the time it gets to it. By this time,
it's
Oh,
only-
you take umbrage with the fact that they're alive.
they're alive. And
Well, if
they're
it makes
only
you feel
being
better, they're not
alive,
for
so-
long.
I don't like the process. I never liked watching those PETA videos of like, how they slaughter a cow. I don't want to see how the sausage or the steak is
Burger,
made.
yeah.
I just want to eat it. I don't want to just get a cow head and just be like, all right, we're going to make steak today. I don't want to do that.
A cow head.
I'll tell you what.
Cow head steak. I'll tell you what. Don't
cow head
ever.
steak's crazy good, actually. a little beef cheek in there.
Yeah, you get a little A1 and you're good to go.
I watch butchering videos on TikTok all the time.
You do
But
not.
you do not watch them being slaughtered.
I don't watch
you
them
watch
being
them
slaughtered,
butchering an
but I
already
watch them-
killed animal.
Yes, but I'm saying
That's
I watch
completely
that.
different.
I'm just saying, like, I like those videos.
Like, imagine the last moments of those mice where they're just like running around the cage and they're looking at the snake. They're like, look at this big thing. And then also, they're looking at the inside of the snake. And they
How
don't
do you
even
know they didn't deserve it?
How did it die? What was the sound?
He's back to it. He's back in the friendly confines. How do you know they didn't deserve it?
I don't know that they did deserve it.
Yeah, well, you don't know what those animals did. You don't know. Those animals might have done just terrible, terrible things.
Maybe those animals
Terrible things.
share some terrible opinions about Israel and Palestine.
They could not come to a conclusion. There's no place for that conversation in the mouse community. I got to take a break. You want to send a text? 35192 AlanCoxShow.com is where you can see the live video stream, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
And everywhere you go